Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And now, for the third day out of four, you may get a little bit tired of me having to go over this, but it's actually quite interesting that over the last couple of days, since returning to talking about Chris, Chris appears almost at a signal to have turned up the heat. And what I mean by that is that a few days ago, I made a video talking about, is Chris going back into denial? And a lot of people said that Chris has been that way for nearly 25 years. Now, granted, yes, that is absolutely true. But what I'm talking about is the fact that Chris is starting to make things public again. Anyone who has access to at least view Blue Sky, which is the source of where Chris puts out his feed because of his hatred of Elon Musk and X. This is kind of the place where Chris is allowed to let it all out. But unfortunately, insofar as we are concerned, or as far as I am concerned, Chris is starting to sound like he's under the influence of the idea guys circa second half of 2018. There's a lot of things to talk about, and the fact that Chris's terminology seems almost as if we're going back to 2018. But with all that being said, let's break this down one step at a time. Also, Chris has gotten into the habit of starting things with lightning, blue heart, lightning. I don't know why. Maybe that's it's just so you know it's from him or her, whatever. Hey, today I am going to answer another FAQ. Why is Chris just playing with toys instead of teaching us about the merge or something divine? Chris mentioning the merge, he's still holding on to this. The truth is, there are moments in between times of greater knowledge and insight where I am meant to simply live and do, and in those moments, such as with the Transformers review videos, if you pay attention with light power and intuition, you would see pieces of the greater story at present, and the granular puzzle scattered throughout. I also gave you all more story content for the Autobots of Quickville, as well as Quickville itself. It may not be centered around the Solitudes and Rosechews, but it is in the same world. The same state in the United States of America that have been here and are happening on the C-197 half of this very Earth. Anyway, a lot of answers about the dimension merge is literally all around you. Increasing intangibility, some already tangible with you. In part, they can also be considered signs and messages relayed by the angels of the heaven realm as well as the cosmos, Akashic records, etc. All you needed to do was just pay attention to everything around you, and you would truly wake up to it all and see and learn for yourself. Science does have a lot of valid, grounded answers, but miracles and manifestations do happen that defy at least one aspect of the evolving scientific understandings with the metaphysical and beyond. I do have more messages that will be stated time and time again, rather it be in post or video or even spoken words, including that when I speak in Akashic while feeling fatigued in the moments. Oh yeah, that's right. I don't even have headphones on. I've got so
Okay, to anybody that gets this, at this moment, I have been without caffeine the entire day, and my brain is very, very much connected with the.
Chris, you look unwell. You look like you haven't been to sleep in about 4 days. Chris, this is not good, Chris. And listen, listen. I've seen quite a lot. I've made friends with a lot of people who are diabetics during my time, and I must be honest. I don't know if it's just caffeine Chris has had, or whether or not Chris has been without something else. But to be honest, Chris should not be looking this pale. This I'm actually now I am actually a little bit concerned because, well, to be honest, ever since Chris got out of the clink, she hasn't exactly looked 100%. But here, Chris looks like she. I think maybe she just needs to go to bed. That's maybe what it is.
cosmos and everything. You look at my eye, into my pupils, you can see they're small. Yeah, essentially, yeah, the five with you can get it, yeah, you can have that. Big push, love, pick it up, I up a shit. Well, pick it out, you got it in the low, alo, keep your ears open up. Why, you, but they kiss you open up. Oh, okay, I'll be right sure, be over. What do you, eyes open, sure, but all, Epigion skiftig jabba Look, Panoya so the Leopa. The flame of the way of the side, Abadi, is open up. Flavidi, we shook the up again. I touch the Panoyo, Lapidati doesn't fly. Kitoy of a la, Lua, Ia is the. Ý ở lúc ở cái phía trái ở phía trái lừa đó leo lại ai phía trái ai 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 cố bên đáp bên đi thì đó bên lăng slap cái đó bên đi ở bên trái ở bên kia ở phía cái đó bên nào bên đây ở bên đó bên cơ bên đầu lost love và cái cái đó bên đó bên đó bên kia ở slap cái đó là bên đó đi cái đó sleep. Prago do pedo. Flip it up, get out, rapidly. Like blood your body up, shut up and go your body up. Ye grabbing up a shy up it over. Loving gloves there, your banana. Well, be my over y'all.
Chris, that was terrifying. Oh, and by the way, in case you're wondering, apparently in the religion of theosophy and the spiritual movement of anthropomorphisy, the Akashic records are believed to be a compendium of all universal events, thoughts, words, emotions, and intent ever to have occurred in the past, present, or future, regarding not just humans but all entities and life forms. In other words, Chris has managed to find something that actually almost justifies, or rather sheds light on his on his theories about the dimensional merge and everything else that has been crawling into Chris's mind. So yeah, let's if now again, this is why I said now that why I said the things I said, because I think that's about as big a flag as you could possibly get to has lost his mind again. Everything is up for interpretation, and only those who are authentically psychic, spiritual, vastly connected, and metaphysical can translate it so. And once it is spoken, it is erased from the speaker's conscious memory like an obscure dream's details. Not many neurotypical individuals can get it. Oh, I see. We're not as special as you, Chris. Oh, yeah. You know what? Thank God for that. The last thing I wanted to be, Chris, was anywhere near as special and gifted as you, Chris. Next thing he'll be saying is that he can actually cure autism next. In any event, I am continuing to live life and enjoying the moments. And when I can, better, I will speak more from my intuition, as well as my divine and cosmic connections and beyond. Take from what you may, the hate comments do not faze me, nor the sequence of events, period. Lightning, heart, lightning, and a gif of Twilight Sparkle. Few things are almost immediately obvious. First of all, the hate comments do not faze me. Well, if that's true, Chris, then why are the replies turned off? Yeah, that's the thing about this, is that Chris find out that he can disable replies. So it's not this. It's not that Chris won't be phased by hate comments is that he has disabled them, so they won't be able to. He won't. Nobody will be able to get a word in edgeways anyway. Secondly, the sequence of events period. But if I'm being honest, Chris, you sound like you have gone absolutely bonkers again. All this about I don't, and again, don't even begin to question me about what the hell Chris was saying. Maybe that's the whole point. If nobody can understand Chris, then, well, how do we know Chris isn't saying anything bad? Unless Chris is saying something bad, and maybe we just don't know it. Um, maybe as far as we know, maybe that translates to there was never any sex involving me in 2021. It was all the mischievous doings of Clyde Cash. What I would give to see Clyde Cash just randomly make a return, just for the sake of almost bringing some level of normalcy back to this, because Chris, yeah, I make no qualms about it, guys. I think Chris is, well, forget about going into denial. I think as Chris has completely lost her mind again. And to think, I could have just ended this video by saying, Chris, did you have sex with your mom? And then Chris just replied, yeah, I suppose I did. Before writing all this. Yeah, and by the way, as far as I'm concerned, this is actually the most recent thing Chris has put out. Yeah, so I don't know why Chris has been inspired to write all of this, but I'm sure there's got to be some methodology. There's got to be some method to this madness, because right now, this is just madness. But with all that being said and done, I will see all of you guys again at the next station. So, all aboard!